Good morning, beloveds. So it's been a week since I have peopled. Um, and I think I'm gonna have to choose my peoples because there's stuff today and stuff tomorrow. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to choose tomorrow. Today was the first day I woke up with my voice. Like straight up, my normal voice. I still I woke up with it's still right here. But I checked the sinus blaster. The first ingredient is horseradish. Um, I took that, and then I also I went for a walk for the first time. We were supposed to get our hair cut this morning, which is part of the reason why I'm late. We were, and so we decided, okay, we're gonna just go forth is a 2 mile loop around a lake. One loop. I can do this. And it's outdoors, so I don't have to worry about people. And we took water bottles just to be sure. And just as we're getting out of the car, my hairstylist texts and says she's tested positive for COVID, so she'll reschedule us. And I was just like, all right, because I planned to wear a mask because I'm still getting over whatever it was that I caught. And so I was going to wear a mask because I didn't want her to expose her, even though I'm probably long past, contagious. But yeah, so okay. So but it was really cool to be in Goforth because it's been a while since we've been to Goforth. Because like I said, it's a 2 mile loop around a lake. But the ducks, the we call it antenna grass. I don't know what its actual name is. But it's the grass that gets really tall and then it V's out and then it has little black seeds on it. So we're walking and we keep seeing the ducks jumping. And that's what they were jumping at. They were jumping at those, the seeds on the grass. So I actually stopped and took a video of them jumping. And it's because it was just really funny because they're in the grass jumping up. And, and I was like, all right then, that's interesting. Hopefully the video is decent. But yeah. So I'm like, people, yay. And yesterday was I felt so much better that I was like, I started between all the flying texts. I attacked a closet, which needed it, and found a poster that didn't belong to me. And so I stopped on my way home to mail that. So I'm just like, okay, at this point, you know what? I don't know what I've done with my day, but here we are. So this is really late, but it's all good. It's all good. Y'all get it when you get it. It is June 18th. Our title is The Guide. Our first quote is, "For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know even as also I am known." And that is 1 Corinthians 13:12. All right. "No harm shall befall thee, my friend, for a divine presence attends your way and guards you into the all good. Loving kindness awaits you at every turn of life's road." And that is The Science of Mind, page 529. Walking in the woods is one of my favorite pastimes. I enjoy all of nature's wonders, though I do not know the names of most of the plants and flowers I see on my walk. One day, a more knowledgeable friend accompanied me on a relaxing walk. She pointed out the various kinds of trees, explaining how one could determine their age. She also informed me of the names of the numerous types of wildflowers, and even carried with her a flower book to clarify any uncertain identifications. Since that day, I've walked through the woods with a new awareness. Some of my friend's curiosity has permanently rubbed off on me. When we start our walk with spirit, a similar experience occurs. As we continue along this path, listening to our inner guide, we can never again look at the world quite the same way. We have a new awareness, a gift from our heavenly spirit. We see situations in our life from an entirely different perspective, and we find ourselves becoming more outstanding, more understanding, compassionate, and loving. When we allow God to guide us, the old way is no longer satisfying. for soon we discover a joy and peace that we had not known before. I am filled with a warm, steady love for all creation. I rest in the arms of spirit and listen to the inner voice which guides me in a gentle manner. My path is made crystal clear. All right. And that is SB. I'm not sure who SB is, so I'm going to look it up really quick. Shirley Briggs. I should get used to that name because I've read her before. So, all right. They say a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. But it's interesting that her friend carried a guidebook. And the amazing thing about living in the time that we live now is that we have a whole lot of information at the tips of our fingertips, always at our fingertips. But we do want to be aware of the source. And that's one of the interesting things, is when we get good information, then we make good choices. And that's why spiritual practice is so important, because some of the best information that we can get is when we go within and commune with the source of our own being. And so when we balance our head and our heart, and when we look to the loving, kind, compassionate understanding that spirit can bring, when we recognize that all of creation is one creation, that we're all parts of a whole, and we're parts of a greater whole. And once we understand that, then we start to interact differently, and we react differently, we respond differently, we tend to treat each other differently when we know who we are. So it's very interesting, that it's all it takes is that one experience to set us on that path. And once we have that one experience and we're set on that path, there's very little that can dissuade us from that path. It's like once we get that understanding, once we get a glimpse of that greater whole, then we're set. And yes, life gets messy and life can be very distracting, and yet we still come back. And we come back through that spiritual practice. And we come back because we got a taste of something that we go, yeah, I want more of that. And the interesting thing is once we get a taste of that, it tends to kind of infuse the rest of our time. It's like, so then we stop and we, enjoy ducks jumping in grass and think, that's pretty cool. And then we see a duck that we hadn't seen before, or a goose that we hadn't seen before. And we're like, well, that's really cool. And it just kind of brings us into this greater appreciation for everything around us all the time. And we see so much more. So it's like, once spirit's got your attention, you do want to continue to practice, but you'll never go back to what it was before. You'll always have a little bit of that, a little bit more appreciation for everything going on around you. So, I've heard this quote from the 1 Corinthians. Jesse uses it somewhat frequently. And I had no idea it was from the Bible, so it's really cool. For now we see through a glass, darkly. We don't know, because we are looking through a material lens. And then face to face, now I know in part. So it's like part of the lens has been shifted into that spiritual sense. So now I know in part. It's like, oh, there's more than I thought. And then I shall know, even as also I am known. There's an awkward period there. It's a little weird. So I suggest go look it up. It's 1 Corinthians 13:12. Read the rest of the quote. A little bit before, after. the more spiritual practice we do, the more we integrate our spiritual sense into our material sense, the more we will see. And then no harm shall befall thee, or no harm shall befall you, my friend, for a divine presence attends your way and guards you into the all good. A divine presence attends your way. There is nowhere that you can go that God is not. Spirit will always be there. Spirit will always be caring for you. Spirit will always be guiding you. Sometimes the question becomes, are we open to it? And then no matter what happens, the Spirit will always be there to take our arm and guide us into the all good, whatever the next experience is. Loving kindness awaits your every turn of life's road. So that's from page 529 of Science of Mind. It's probably from one of the meditations, which is, he's at the back of the Science of Mind textbooks. There are some absolutely beautiful meditations. So walking in the woods is one of my favorite pastimes. I enjoy it. All of nature's wonders, though I do not know the names of most of the plants and flowers I see on my walks. The cool thing now is, there are apps where you can take pictures and use Google Lens, and it'll look it up for you. So if you want to know, it's available to you. One day, a more knowledgeable friend accompanied me on a relaxing walk. She pointed out the various kinds of trees, explained how one could determine their age. She also informed me of the names of numerous types of wildflowers, and even carried with her a flower book to clarify any uncertain identifications. So she walked with somebody who had more information than she did, which is us always walking with Spirit. Spirit always has more information than we do. Since that day, I have walked through the woods with a new awareness. She got a taste. Some of my friend's curiosity has permanently rubbed off on me. When we start our walk with Spirit, a similar experience occurs. As we continue along this path, listening to our inner guide, we can never again look at the world in quite the same way. And that is the truth. Once you pick up spiritual practice, even if you never touch it again, it will always, always, always color you in ways. Spirit has ways of marking us once we've touched it that other people can see. And that's one of the reasons why frequently people will be attracted to us. It's Spirit's marked us in this way, because we've touched Spirit on a level that a lot of people don't. And people are craving that all the time. So it's when they meet people who touch Spirit, they're like, what do you know that I don't know? We have a new awareness, a gift from our heavenly, Spirit. Once we've touched the source of our own being, and once we have allowed the awareness of the source of our own being to touch us. It's the source of our own being is constantly touching us. It's the source of our being. But once we've allowed that awareness to touch us, amazing things happen. We see situations in our life from an entirely different perspective, and we find ourselves becoming more understanding, compassionate, and loving. It is a shift. It's once you recognize that we're part of a greater whole, you can't help but think differently of the way you do things. When we allow God to guide us, the old way is no longer satisfying, for we soon discover a joy and a peace we had not known before. All right. And then she writes this beautiful treatment. I am filled with a warm, steady love for all creation. I rest in the arms of Spirit. I listen to the inner voice which guides me in a gentle manner. My path is made crystal clear. All right. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to walk with Spirit. She says to start our walk with Spirit, but it doesn't matter where you are on the path. It is to consciously walk with Spirit, because the truth is you're always walking with Spirit. And then we consciously walk with Spirit. So, that's the mission today. Should we choose to accept it, is to consciously walk with Spirit. What does that mean? What does that look like? It looks a little different to everybody else, but it is about that greater awareness. Her example was to learn a little bit more about the trees and a little bit more about the flowers. And yours is to learn a little bit more about you and how you interact with the greater whole. So, and one of the ways you can do that is with the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. It can be as short as taking a nice deep breath before you speak. It can be taking a day of rest. I just had a week of rest. It was pretty cool. It can also be to sit down and actually engage all 5 of your senses in something that you are doing. I have got a friend who absolutely adores his tea ritual. You know, he does everything with all 5 senses. He really focuses on that tea and gets everything out of that tea. You know, from holding it in his hand to the way it smells, the way it tastes, the way it feels, going down, and, you know, just the warmth of the cup in his hand. Really engage all 5 of your senses. Do it with your whole being. Do it mindfully. Do it consciously. That is the loving, kind, compassionate thing that I am encouraging you to do. It can also be take a nap, go for a walk, you know, that kind of stuff. It's about taking care of yourself. It's about creating a habit, a default setting, a first response, so that no matter what happens, you can have a loving, kind, compassionate response for yourself and for anybody that you meet. All right. So that is your mission and your spiritual practice from me. I also encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body. I encourage you to drink plenty of water. Very, very, very important, especially if you're dealing with a little bit of congestion still. Help thin that out. I encourage you to get some early morning bright light, or early in your day bright light, depending on where your day starts and ends. You know, it's science. It helps to reset all those hormones and can help you have more energy during the day and sleep better at night. And then, as always, I encourage you to open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. It is all around you all the time. And it is up to us to engage with the source of our own being and to look for the good and praise it. That's how we get those windows open. That's how we recognize the breath of heaven when it blows across us, is by looking for the good. The good's all around us. Sometimes we can get a little blinded and miss it. So, you know, open up your consciousness. And now there's a whole lot going on this weekend. If you don't know, then please email info@creativelife.org to get on that constant contact. That way, you'll know what's going on. Jesse puts hot links in there so that when it says click here, it will take you directly to whatever it is that you are asking, you want to know about. And then, we do have the memorial tomorrow. And so with that memorial, I think you have until 6 p.m. today to ask for that link. As I understand it, as of right now, the plan is to go ahead and record it, but it will not be public. It will be on a private, it'll be on an unlisted channel. So what that means is that if you want the link to the memorial, you're going to have to ask for it. So, all right. So either, you know, come in person, request that Zoom link, or then after the fact, you can request I think it'll be on YouTube. But like I said, it won't be available. You'll have to ask for it. And that's what I know that's going on. That's the good that I know. So follow us on the social medias. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark. I am the Running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. And we are here for you. So Reverend David will likely be on around 5 p.m. I should be back with you at 9 a.m. I'm going to pray for the continuation of my voice. And then we will see you at 11 a.m. with that service. So rest up, take care of yourself. If you are going out to any of the Juneteenths that are happening around the city, be safe and enjoy them. And all right, have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanting day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased and well represented always. All right. So take care of yourself. I will see you next time. Know that you're loved.